Hello everyone, Lognworld here, and in today's video, we are watching a game series about the lost history of Minecraft's Enderman. Now, I've watched this about 7 times already, so you won't be really getting a reaction out of me. The first time was me actually watching it. Sorry, my English is a little bit off today. And the other 6 times was me, watching people's reactions to it. If you know what, I have an idea. I'll be right back. Screw you, retainers! I've decided to take out my retainers because they are getting on my nerves. Anyways, let's get into the video. Shall we?
No one. Literally no one. Oh, come on! You gotta be kidding me! Hello, Internet! Welcome to Game Theory! Call it nostalgia, call it a return to a more innocent time, call it a desire to trend right off of PewDiePie's success playing the game that just overthrew Fortnite. Rest in peace, Jurgen. But I have been digging through a lot of Minecraft lore lately. Oh, and you absolutely heard that right. According to Google Trends, Minecraft is now on top of Fortnite, both in terms of web search and here on YouTube. It's like the Grover Cleveland of video games. And by that I mean a game that was king, gave up its crown to someone else, but then snatched it back. Just like old Grover C. did when he was elected president. History's only double president, for that matter. Honestly, it's like the only thing Grover Cleveland's known for. Heck, this 10 fascinating facts article on him couldn't even come up with anything remotely interesting, let alone fascinating. What was I talking about again? Oh yeah, Minecraft, on the other hand, is endlessly fascinating, because for a game that's now 10 years old, happy anniversary by the way, its lore still hasn't been cracked. Oh sure, there's plenty of speculation and lots of really good ideas.
Don't you mean their lore hasn't been crafted yet?
But to my knowledge, no one has truly been able to piece together a final, all-encompassing, all mysteries of this world tied together lore solve. And so today, I don't really plan on doing that. I'm not even gonna pretend. I'm starting to learn that people take it really seriously when I say stuff like, today we're solving this. So let me
Actually, I'm completely okay with it. In fact, that's what makes me actually interested in the videos, even though I barely watch them. It's been a while. Don't remember the last one I watched except for this one.
instead say this quite honestly to you. I'm gonna do my best to start us on a journey to solve this thing. I want to start a conversation with all of you where we can pool our knowledge and figure this out together. I want to put together my thoughts on pieces of evidence that stood out as particularly interesting to me, propose to you what I interpret that to mean, and then leave further discussion in our collective communal hands. It's a theory. It's always a theory. And like any theory, it's meant to be discussed, analyzed, criticized, added to, tested. And because it's a theory about video games, it's meant most importantly of all to be fun. And if along the way we solve some deep-seated lore mysteries, great, more power to us. These games at the end of the day are puzzles to solve. And so I'm gonna do my best to lead that charge in solving those puzzles, but I want you to be there with me every step of the way. And so our first step when it comes to solving Minecraft is tackling the Enderman. Originally programmed into the game as a joking reference to Slenderman, these tall, dark, and handsome creatures, well, just tall and dark, I guess.
No, they're handsome. It's just a matter of perspective.
Become the cornerstone upon which all other lore in this game is built. Solving what the Endermen are is essential if we have any hope of truly coming to the definitive solution as to the hidden backstory of this game. And after exploring the design of survival mode, the gameplay decisions, even
I can never complete survival mode, I'm sorry. It takes way too long to find the stronghold. I still haven't found one yet in any of my survival gameplays, so I just stick with creative. Am I the only person that likes creative mode? I feel like I'm the only one that respects creative mode and hates survival mode. I don't know why that is. Like, any game that has creative mode in it I will always play creative mode first. But everyone seems to hate that about me and wants me to do survival first and suffer. So, I'm an outcast. Also, I now have Sea of Thieves on my Xbox One, so if you guys ever want to hang out with me more, have an interaction with your number one favorite loser and all that stuff, just send a friend request to Lognworld 2002, and if I'm online when you're online, make sure to send me an invite because I'm not in the mood for talking right now. I'm sorry.
Ancillary canonical content in books like the Ma Bestiary, surprise, surprise, I have myself a theory as to what they actually are. Admittedly, it's not a new theory, but what it lacks for in originality, it more than makes up for in evidence and observation. It is my proposal to you today that the Endermen aren't aliens, they're not ghosts. I almost thought that they were in. It is my proposal to you today that the Endermen aren't aliens.
I just now noticed that in all my 7 watches of this video, I just now noticed that. But that would be cool if, like, on September 20th, if people actually succeed in raiding Area 51, if people actually succeed in raiding Area 51, if they actually find Enderman, I'm gonna kill my dog one day. Just kidding now. I don't like killing.
Aliens. They're not ghosts. I almost thought that they were insects, but that one didn't pan out. No, what they are is human. They're brilliant humans. Humans who are in trouble, a literal fight for their lives and needed an escape. But in the process, they suffered a horrific fate, reducing them to the moaning shadows of a fallen civilization that they are now. So, in the true spirit of Minecraft, let's start building ourselves a theory, shall we? What do we know about these creatures? Well, first, we know that they're one of the game's neutral mobs, meaning that they're not going to attack you unless they're actively provoked. This is already interesting because it means that, in many ways, they come in peace. I mean, look at the list of mobs and all of their behavior patterns. Anything else that's nice to you is either an animal, a villager, or a zombie pigman, which is weird and honestly merits an episode of its own for another day. Everything, and I mean everything else, is hostile, except for the Enderman. So already there's a bit of an odd, tenuously peaceful relationship.
What? Did they just show a chicken with a zombie? Chicken jockey? What the heck is a chicken jockey? Can someone explain what a chicken jockey is? I've never encountered one. I've encountered literally everything else but a skeleton horseman and a chicken jockey. Or are those just the baby zombies that just ride animals and as their zombies' backs? Because that would make a lot more sense. That's not.
Already there's a bit of an odd, tenuously peaceful relationship between us and the Enderman, but it gets even weirder when you consider that they're the only other creatures other than Steve or Alex able to move blocks. Sure, they're kinda picky about what blocks they pick up, but carrying blocks is an ability only shared between our character and the Enderman. As the Ma Bestiary says, quote, "They will not just pick up any block, but will choose only clay, dirt and sand, flowers and other plants, and rather oddly TNT. Some claim the Enderman is indulging in a form of play or attempting to communicate. Speaking of communication, we also know that they can talk, or at least had the ability to talk. Listen to some of the sound clips from when Endermen are idling near you. You hear it? There's clearly a language.
I heard one of the words that he presents. Everything else just sounded like gibberish to me.
Here. A real language that we as humans can understand. Listen again. You should be hearing, hey. Hello. This next one is really clear. What's up? And look for the eye. which presumably is referencing Eyes of Ender, the items that allow you to find strongholds where they're...
Did you guys know that he just did a little brain trick right there? Because, like, I've noticed that there's a certain brain trick out there where if you play sound and you first don't understand what the heck it means, and then you have a text that goes along with it, that thing that you can't understand starts sounding more like what you're reading. It's an interesting trick out there. I noticed him using that. I was like, wait a second. I saw that on Brain Games. You can't fool me.
are used to activate a portal to the End, home of the Enderman and the game's final boss, the Ender Dragon. So we have ourselves neutral creatures who are able to move blocks.
My advice, if you go to the end with a team, don't try to use a TNT cannon. That never works, ever. Unless you're able to actually hit him and get the TNT to fly out at a right angle, don't try using a TNT cannon. Worst idea of my life. I should try nuking him. Because I just watched a video after eating. Not watched, my bad. I just watched a video after eating dinner about how to make a nuke using only TNT in Minecraft. And the person in the video, he used, I don't know, like 60 TNT minecarts. But when I use 60 TNT, regular, normal TNT, doesn't really do that much damage. I mean, to the terrain, not to the NPCs. They're dead and halfway across the map by now.
Just like us, and have language abilities far beyond what we hear elsewhere in the game from characters like the villagers. It's certainly a lot of odd similarities to be sure, but far from airtight evidence that the Endermen are somehow related to men. But now let's take a minute to actually look at their home, the End. The End is a weird final dimension for Minecraft. It honestly feels to me like where the game started to run out of money. Not that it could ever run out of money, with the whole thing just being a bunch of end stone and purple blocks, ugly purples and yellows everywhere, huge chunks of landscape missing, and giant cities that you can visit far off in the distance, all of which are eerily empty. This is the home of the Enderman, sure, even the mob bestiary says it, but look closer and you see that while the Enderman may call this dimension home, and they certainly wander around in the empty open landscapes, these giant looming Thanos purple buildings aren't for them. What do I mean by that? Well, let's take a look inside the End cities. There's tons of great loot hidden all over the place.
The structure of those buildings never made sense to me. Because, like, in real life, that thing should be collapsed the moment it was built. Like, halfway while it was being built, it should have collapsed by now. Then again, is Minecraft. The impossible is possible, slightly, to a degree. I'm so tired. I want to go to sleep. But it's only 8:25. I have to wait 2 more hours. Well, I mean, technically 1 hour because I go to bed like 10, but I could just go to bed right now. Let's continue. Why not?
Place. Inside the chests, you can find everything from enchanted swords to saddles and armor for your horse. The Minecraft Gamepedia breaks down everything that we can find here, but something's wrong with that list. None of these items are actually useful to the Endermen. They don't wear armor, they don't attack with swords, and they certainly don't ride animals. Heck, there are no animals in the End.
Hey, look, you can call me on how I play or look on the court. But how I get fresh and clean, that's between me and my bubbles. Not your damn business.
To ride.
Can I find the producers of this commercial and burn them in front of a city, please? I hate this commercial so much. Actually, any commercial that pops up I hate, unless it's like... Yeah, no, any commercial I find I hate. It's funny. Now, if they replaced everything with Sergeant Johnson's voice from the Halo series, I'm pretty sure everyone would want to watch that. Because, like, it's Sergeant Johnson. If you guys have watched Sergeant Johnson's commercials for Halo games, I want to buy more Halo games because of watching those commercials. But sadly, I can't pre-order ODST anymore. So, and I mean, unless you guys have a pre-ordered ODST games that I can have, that'd be nice. That'd be a good Christmas present. Just a thought for you folks out there. Just get me a pre-ordered ODST game so that... Actually, you know what? We'll watch that commercial I'm talking about right now at the end of this video. How about that? Haha.
Even the fact that the items are kept in chests should be a huge red flag here. Remember, Endermen are only picking up certain blocks, and none of those blocks entail chests. They can't use these things or the thing that stores those things. All of this points to the idea that the End's cities weren't built by the Endermen. They were built by and for someone else. Some other ancient people who managed to get to the end. But who? When you start up a new survival mode game, you enter a blank world. Immediately you notice that you're the only one of your kind. Oh, sure, as you adventure, you'll come across NPCs like the villagers, but they're not like you. They don't look like you. They can't build like you. You and the villagers are fundamentally different. It's almost as if you're a different species. This fact is even supported by zombie attacks. When bit, a villager doesn't transform into a normal zombie. It turns specifically into a zombie villager. Regular zombies and zombie villagers are different. In fact, the only times that you ever really see anything that looks even remotely like you, it's always in the form of undead enemies. Zombies, drowned husks. It implies that, once upon a time, there were other humans here, but they all died en masse.
I mean, same thing could be said for skeletons, because, you know, they're skeletons. They could look like you if they still has flesh on. And now that I think about it, if there was a skeleton that was still in clothes, not just like completely skeletized, if you know what I mean, you can see that it can, same thing with the zombies, it can have the same story with the zombies, just saying.
It's a strange detail that you probably noticed, but you shrug it off and you continue on your journey. Then you start discovering pre-existing structures, mine shafts, temples in the desert, monuments underwater, all abandoned, all of them lost to time.
Never found a single one except for the Sand Fortress in all my gameplays. I literally had to switch the Super Flat World settings to have one of those things. And then again, it would just pop the thing on the surface, so it'd be easier to find. Very hard to navigate. Of course, they got rid of that ability for the Nintendo Switch. That kind of made me sad. Because I was hoping, so, because now that I have an Xbox One, I can't entirely play Minecraft on the Xbox One. I had to get that Minecraft for the Xbox One, not for the 360. But I have it for the Nintendo Switch only right now. So, and apparently, Nintendo Switch doesn't give you the ability to change your settings for the Super Flat World. That's apparently, so far as I know, only in the Xbox. Which made me very sad and depressed.
Again, you're the only person who can build things in this world, and you certainly...
I need to stop choking on my boogers. That happens so much. I inhale through my nose, and 50% of the time, a booger will come out of my mouth. I don't know why that keeps happening to me. Either because I need to start cleaning out my nose more. Of course, we both know I'm not going to do that, because now I'm too lazy. Or I can just exhale instead of inhaling. Nah. Good lord, I'm tired.
Didn't build any of these things, so where did they come from? Making things even more suspicious is the fact that ruins like desert temples are protected by cleverly designed booby traps. Elaborate fake floors complete with pressure plates and grids of TNT. It all points to one thing: an advanced society of builders once lived in the overworld, but have since disappeared. So that begs the question, where did they go? Maybe they all died, which in turn led to the armies of the undead mobs that we have to guard against every night. And while I certainly think that that's part of it, it's not the whole story. Because we know that they went somewhere. somewhere, teleported somewhere. And while they could have gone any number of places, we know for a fact that one of the places they ended up was the end. How can we be so sure? Strongholds. Strongholds are the hidden ancient ruins that contain massive portals to the end. Whatever this ancient society was, they were so advanced that they could figure.
I found them one time in a 6th grade birthday party. Oh god, 6th grade. I hated 6th grade. So many things went wrong there. All because one 4th grader misunderstood what I said. Was one of my best friends, who was her older brother, started bullying me, thinking that I called her an idiot when I called the rest of my grade an idiot. I had no idea how she misunderstood me on that. Oh, God, so many things went wrong in that grade. If I can erase any part of my time, it would be, well, basically from 5th grade to 9th grade, actually. God, I hated those schools. It's not just the kids that were getting on my nerves. Some of the teachers, too. So many bad memories. But, like, we had found a stronghold while we were trying to build a dirt fort. Because, the birthday boy, he had gone off and made a little tree fort. And while we were digging, of course, yeah, I discovered that, but couldn't get all the way through because, we had just started out. We literally built our base right next to the stronghold without even knowing it. And then I discovered it, but we could never get through because it was very far down, and we kept on dying. Sometimes we would survive the jump. If we didn't jump in, we would just fall in. We would sometimes survive the jump. But most of the time, once we survived the fall and just walked around, we would either get headshot out of somewhere in the darkness, blown up, or punched to death. And ever since then, I've never found a single stronghold anywhere. I've been trying, even in creative mode, I've never found a single stronghold. So what my plan is now, is just nuke the entire planet until I find one. Now that I know how to make nukes, I'm just gonna nuke the entire surface until I find a stronghold. Or just end up destroying the stronghold in the process. Well, if I can't find it, I'll just destroy it. Logic. American logic.
Figure out how to build these things, which in turn makes them more advanced than even you, the player. In survival mode, you can't craft the end frames necessary to construct this thing. In order to travel to the end, you must find these portals hidden within the stronghold. And let's stop there.
I remember, does anyone know how to, I've been trying to see if I can, in creative mode, I've been trying to see if I can, convert the biomes to be, the end. But the trees that you find in the end, I actually have to build them, because they're not growing, in the overworld, which makes me very sad, because, in one of my games that most people visit, it's pretty much like a Fallout game. It's more like a wizard Fallout because there's wizard pretty much every corner in the game, in the map, and pretty much I have my own little vault, but I started putting end world, the, what are they called again? End sand? Sure, why not? The end sand. English is off today. I started putting them, all across, filling up holes that a wizard put in the surface right in front of my vault. I started filling them up with end sand. Then I tried growing some of those trees that you find in the end, but they're not growing. And I don't know how to grow those trees. I can grow any other tree, mainly because of bone meal, but those trees won't grow. Not to the height, and especially not to the height that you find them in the end. So, either I have to completely convert the planet to be the end, or I can just give up. My family says we don't give up. Me, I should just give up.
There for a minute. I mean, have you ever thought to question that name? Stronghold? It's a pretty odd choice. Personally, I would think it to be like the Portal Room, or the Gateway Room, or the
I just call it the Gateway. Or the Ark.
Altar or something, anything like that. But instead, the designers of Minecraft named it Stronghold, a term that refers to a highly secure structure built for defending against attacks. And there's that idea again, an ancient civilization of advanced builders that was quickly dying. A group of builders, just like our player, who were being threatened in the overworld and needed an escape. And what they created was a portal to another dimension, the End, where, wouldn't you know it, they built cities to store the items and armor from their previous world. But there was one thing that they didn't expect, that this would be a one-way trip, that the portal would close up behind them, leaving them stranded in a strange and barren wasteland. Sure, they were safe.
You know, here's my theory. Because we all know that if one player can survive, like, forever against zombies and creepers and skeletons, then why can't one civilization can't? Here's my theory. Because we all know about Herobrine. Maybe that threat was Herobrine all along. Because we all know that Herobrine has, like, a lot of health. And he can one-shot kill people. So maybe he was that threat. I know that in real life he's just like a virus or something. But could be that Herobrine actually has some lore with, like, has a connection with Matt Pat. What is his name? Matt Pat? I think his name's Matt Pat. I'm just gonna call him Matt Pat. With Matt Pat's theory. But hey, you never know. That's just a theory. A game theory. I'm gonna get copyright for this.
Safe from whatever was killing them in the overworld, but now they were trapped in a wasteland.
Also, if I was in that situation, I've noticed how you can still make another portal. Like after right, you have to kill the end dragon first. I'm gonna run more experiments tomorrow. I'm gonna see if I can make a working nether portal in the end. I probably can't, you never know. But hey, it's worth a shot, because on the Xbox version, I was able to make a nether end portal, and then someone brought back the Ender Dragon trying to prevent me from leaving, but it didn't affect that portal. So, I just hopped on out. So, maybe... Wait, that doesn't make any sense. If one civilization can't be one dragon, then how come one player can? Because really, if they couldn't destroy those tower things, and yet they're an entire civilization, but all we needed to do was use ladders, the civilization wasn't as smart as they think, because there are so many plot holes there that the player can do. If a player can do that, why can't an entire civilization of advanced builders do any of that? Because there's a lot of building options that they could have done, like build ladders and build TNT bombs everywhere. And archers. Why didn't they have archers? And if you think about it, you could just storm the end with iron golems. I love doing that. One time on my creative mode gameplay, I had so I gone to the end, and yeah, there's Enderman everywhere, and I pretty much just stormed the area with iron golems and snow golems. The iron golems lasted forever. They're still alive, actually. The snow golems, I don't even know what happened to them. They're just gone. Like, they're there one day, and like 3 minutes later, they're not. Where did they go? Probably dead. But another gameplay I did, I just stormed the end with a whole bunch of other mobs. Apparently, the wizard will not attack the end dragon unless it accidentally shoots the end dragon. Then it would target it. Because I had built like 17 wizards in the end, trying to kill the ender dragon instead of doing it like everyone else does. And they were refusing to kill the end dragon. They would just go after the Enderman. Oh. 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 I just got an idea. If I, once I turn 18 and all the other stuff, and I've been granted the right to get games on my computer and stuff like that, I'm gonna get Minecraft for the computer, and I'm going to download the Wizard Storm mod. And then I'm going to put the Wizard Storm in the end and the Nether, and just see how long it takes to kill the Ender Dragon. Because the Wizard Storm, they're pretty powerful. So is the Ender Dragon, though. I should get more dragons. I need a dragon mod, and a spaceship mod, and a vehicle mod, and a nuke. I want a nuke. Am I the only person that likes nukes? Literally, everyone else I meet is afraid of nukes. I want nukes. I'm just kidding. I don't really want. Only in video games do I want nukes. If I had nukes in real life, I would probably light them off with a cup of coffee. I'd probably do something very clumsy and stupid and just light off 17 nukes at the same time. Oh, that would suck. Right, planet Earth. Yeah, okay, let's continue. I'm wasting your time.
Land guarded by an unstoppable dragon, and they came unprepared. Based on what we see in the chests, they came in with swords and armor and horses. Effective weapons to be sure, but not against an otherworldly foe. A giant foe that flies around and attacks with...
I beat the Ender Dragon with just a stick. Well, technically, that is true because the sword is made out of sticks. Just saying. Like, I had diamond armor, I had a sword, I still beat the Ender Dragon, even with the regeneration things. Took a while though, because notice how there's some of them that were uncovered and very low. One of my friends just kept on using their bow and kept on shooting down the crystals, which actually really helped. And another friend, what did they do? Oh, that's right. They kept on poisoning the Ender Dragon. Who? What if the Ender... That's right, the Ender Dragon doesn't get poisoned. I've tried poisoning the Ender Dragon. I tried using the Wizard Arrow. No effects for it. I even tried putting it on fire. The best thing I can do to kill it is hit it with a sword. TNT does not work. Oh, it does, but if I try to set up a little trap, he just swoops in and it's all gone. I have to rebuild it while he's there. And then he just flies off the moment it's ready, so. We really do need TNT launchers, don't we? I wouldn't mind just launching a packet of TNT everywhere. We need cannons. We really do.
Towering beacons that restore its health. They couldn't defeat this thing, hence why it's still living when we arrive. And as we know from the game, the only way out of the end is through defeating the Ender Dragon. And since they couldn't, they were stuck, trapped there for generations. They learn to live in harmony with the dragon. They make a new life with whatever limited resources they have there, building homes using the strange end stones and purple blocks. They run out of food and soon have nothing to eat, so they turn to the strange chorus fruits found there. Chorus fruits, which, funny enough, have teleportation properties. And over time, they begin to change. They adapt to their new surroundings. Oh sure, they retain some human features. According to the diagrams in the mob bestiary, their brains are very human-like, and they have the flat faces and wide eyes indicative of humans. They still do vaguely look like our player character, but they evolve to grow taller, which makes picking the tall stalks of chorus fruit easier. Similar to how giraffes' necks got longer to more easily reach higher up leaves. The fruit's teleportation teleportation abilities starts to rub off on them. So instead of having to rely on ender pearls to teleport around, they instead naturally gain the ability from their diet. Over time, they slowly forget their ability to build. I mean, why build when there's no escape, when there's not even many resources with which to craft? But they still retain the ability to pick up blocks. Though their skill for speech gets forgotten, they do retain a rudimentary language, still speaking in those distorted words. This once great builder society slowly, generation after generation, transforms into the Enderman. Even some of their memories may...
So lore-wise, it is possible to, given enough time, to make them evolve back into humans, but just like smarter. And technically smarter Endermen, because they won't be able to go back to their human forms, because, you know, they still have that teleportation thing in them. But, like, give it, like, I don't know, 7 generations away from the end. Like, put them in the Minecraft world in 7 generations, they'd probably be able to build again. And, of course, with proper education. Like, this is all just, like, lore thinking here. Like, if you give them enough time after freeing them from the end, you could potentially teach them to speak correctly, build, make them like a combination between what they were before and what they are now. That is actually a very cool idea. I actually like my idea. They should make a mod for that.
Still remain. One odd detail of the Enderman is that wearing a pumpkin on your head prevents them from becoming aggressive. Maybe it reminds them, somewhere deep down, of a simpler time, or of the friendly golems that they would construct back on the overworld. Regardless, the civilization is stuck.
Do Endermen have a lifespan? Because that would make more sense. How do they even reproduce? Do they even reproduce? Okay, no, they have to have a lifespan, because if they didn't have a lifespan, early generations, like when they first came, they would still have a lifespan, and then it would be the moment they start actually turning into Enderman that they probably not have a lifespan anymore. Because do Endermen even have a lifespan? I mean, Minecraft-wise, no, they probably don't, but lore-wise, how old does an Enderman even live for? We need answers. I don't need sleep people. I need answers. And what? I mean, Sam Hillary, did I just... No. No. Stop it. Get some help.
There. Oh sure, some are able to teleport out into the overworld or into the nether, but most are forced to live there, under the rule of the dragon. And we know this isn't by choice, because when you finally arrive in the end, when you finally defeat their oppressor, the achievement we receive is Free the End. The Endermen at this point are so far gone from the people they once were that they're no longer able to appreciate what's happened, but in defeating the dragon, you as the player have brought closure to this oppressed civilization. One that was forced to flee to a new dimension in order to survive, only to wind up trapped yet again. And that, my friends, is the story of Minecraft. You're a builder, and you follow in the path of the great builders who came before you, discovering their work, learning of their enemies, unlocking their technology, and ultimately freeing them from their greatest oppressor. Now, admittedly, there are some difficult things to explain here, like how this ancient civilization got access to the Ender Pearls necessary to craft the Eyes of Ender required to build a portal to the end if they themselves become the Endermen. It would require some sort of time loop.
Oh, it's so real. I feel like I'm in a real bathtub. I mean, I can feel the bubbles and everything.
We all know that Old Spice is better than this.
Oh, and I can smell the rosemary. This is amazing. Ooh, a bat. That's weird.
Which, honestly, there isn't a whole lot of evidence for. Instead, my thought here is that the Ender Pearls are items that they learn to create before becoming Endermen, before going to the end. mean, think about this. We know that this ancient civilization was able to access the Nether. End rods and Eyes of Ender both require blaze-related materials to craft. So this civilization had definitely visited that dimension, and thus knew how to access the powers of teleportation. So maybe they learned how to harness that in a smaller, portable form, i.e. the Ender Pearl, before ever making it to the end? I'm not 100% sure. It's honestly just speculation to try and solve for this theory's biggest problem. Anyway, I want to know, what do you think? Did you like it? Did you not? Let's build it out from there. Why do they hate Endermites? Where'd the villagers come from? And seriously, what is the deal with the zombie pigman civilization? Like I said, the Endermen are just the start to the puzzle that is Minecraft, but there is still plenty more here for us to discover. So until then, remember, that's just a theory. A game theory. Thanks for watching. And hey, if you enjoyed that, start picking away at the box on the left to check out my video on what Minecraft creepers really are. It's an older video and it's more scientific, but it's one of my favorites. Or heck, chip away at the box on the right to watch as I prove that Minecraft's block world is actually round. I'll see you all next.
That could work. Seeing how if on the Nintendo Switch, if you choose everything to be infinite, that doesn't make any sense, does it? Huh. Okay, so it's time for the evaluation time. Ow, my spine! I really need to find a friend who's gonna massage him. My spine. Ow, hand. And shoulders, back, legs, feet, butt, head, neck, ears, everything hurts. I'm dying. I'm an old man. An old man trapped in a young boy. How many times have I heard this before? Anyway, so, what did you guys think of the video? Like what he just asked literally a few seconds ago. My opinion was, it's starting somewhere. There are definitely some questions that need answering before continuing on to zombie pigmen, like what was the threat that chased the entire civilization into the end, and why no one thought to have a backup plan? Because you're going into a different world. Whose idea was it to not come prepared? That is one of the most fatal mistakes ever. Another question is, how long do they even live for? How do they reproduce? What the heck is a creep? Oh, well, even though he does have a video right there. Meh. Another question I have is there lore behind the wizard? And I've noticed something. Actually, that's a really cool picture of a planet. I like that. I would want to live on that planet just because of the giant cave there. Looks nice. Anyway, one time when I was just searching around the ocean, to the ocean floor, I noticed that there were some buildings at the bottom of the floor. Even a boat. There's even a boat at the bottom of the ocean floor. But I was wondering, like, how the heck did that even get there? If, like, does Minecraft even have their own, like, lore-wise, yes, they would have their own tectonic plates moving, so that would mean that that entire place probably got pushed downward, and the land that you're on now got pushed upward. Would that even work? They should make a mod to make everything more realistic, like give everything a lifespan, make the planet actually moving, and of course, yes, make it round. But yeah, I would love to see where this community theory goes off of. And I get that stupid thing again. Anyways, guys, that's all I have for tonight's video. I hope you all enjoyed. Make sure to subscribe, turn on notifications, subscribe to whatchamacallit channel. I don't remember his channel. Game Serious. Serious. Hold on. Game Serious. I still say it wrong. I need English. Anyways, I hope you all enjoyed. Hope you all. My English is gone. Anyways, have a good day, night, dream, sleep, whatever. Bye.